I just have to say one thing. I've spent a lifetime trying to unpack mathematically what's happening financially and economically. And then along comes somebody who doesn't have to go through that process, but they can immediately see what's going on and just take it apart like like a razor blade. And what I want to know is, how do you do it? How do you see right into everything and just take it apart? You have, I don't know, you have a remarkable ability to sort of map out and understand the human condition.
Thank you. I don't think I don't think I see into everything. As I said, I'm not an economist. I'm not a financial expert. There's, so much that I don't understand. I get lost pretty quickly when I start digging into, finance and economics. I think my focus, as a writer, as a creative writer, as well
Right,
as, political satirist and a commentator, a lot of it has been on power. Yeah, just
right,
really large historical movements of power, and also, interpersonal power. How
right,
how power in society, influences us and creates realities. I mean, taking it back to the theater, this is basically what we do in the theater. I always describe theater to artists that I'm working with, or writers that I'm mentoring. I say, the film is like a dream, like a hallucination, but theater is church.
right,
There's a congregation, we're all there, everybody's present, and some of us get up, on the stage, on the altar, dress funny, and perform this weird ritual, and the congregation kind of interprets it. Okay, what
right,
does that mean? And so, and it's kind of a reality generating machine.
right,
And from that, that's also, I think my focus politically is I'm really focused on ideology, and I've been watching how our reality, how our ideology is created. And so naturally, I have a lot of focus on propaganda and on the media, and on messaging in general.
So then you come into 2016. Now, had you created the Consent Factory yet?
I hadn't. What happened was, I had finished my novel,
Uh huh.
and and I stuck my head up. I'd really been a hermit, for most of my life. Um, swore that I would never ever join social media.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, and now, I'm on Twitter and Facebook half the day. But I'd been a hermit, and I stuck my head up after I finished this novel, and the 2016 campaign was going on. And, being an old lefty, I got excited. There's Bernie Sanders. It's, oh my gosh, it
Mm-hmm.
looks like there's an old populist lefty out there, trying to do something. And then I was immediately, engaged by how viciously and systematically the corporate media and the powers that be were setting out to derail and demonize, Bernie Sanders. And that's kind of what drew me in to it. And I thought,
Right.
I don't know what the heck. And I wrote a little piece and I sent it into Counterpunch, and they ran it.
Uh
Um,
huh.
so I wrote another one and sent it in, and they ran it again. And so I was kind of off to the races. Once I started that, and it felt like, okay, maybe this will be an interesting thing to do. Then I set up the Consent Factory, and things developed from there.
So your essays from 2016 to 2017. I'm right in the middle of them now. It's called Trump Apocalypse. Is that how you pronounce it? It's very funny. But I
Um,
just I
so,
just have to quote one. I love this. There's so many. I tend to mark up books, and you get a lot of marks on your books. A lot has happened over the last 4 years, some of which happened and some of which didn't, depending on your definition of happened. Some of what happened actually happened, and some of it only officially happened of it. happened. Some of it probably actually happened, but it didn't officially, and there's no proof that it did, so it might as well have never have happened. Some of it definitely actually happened, but it is definitely not what officially happened, so it absolutely never happened, even though we watched it happen. You go on. But you're going back and forth between this official reality and reality. And so you do that for 2016, 2017. You describe in 2016 the switch from the war on terrorism to the war on populism. So maybe if you could just give us a few words on what happened and how you described it.
Yeah, my take on it was, I was pretty focused on the whole war on terror. I was, in New York, on September 11th, watched the whole thing roll out, watched the whole,
Right.
war on terror narrative roll out, and paid attention to everything that happened during that, and satirized some of it in my columns, and it was just glaring to me. In the summer of 2016, there's an article that was in the Guardian that I think I referred to in the essays. They were literally pushing, the summer of terror, the summer of fear or something. There had been these various, I refer to them as non-terrorist terrorist attacks.
Right.
These lone individuals, many of whom were disturbed and, decided that they wanted to become world famous or whatever it was, but these so-called lone wolf terrorists who were not connected to any terror organization at all.
Right.
And anyway, it was the war on terror was in full swing. And then suddenly, Trump appeared, and Trump got the nomination. And I watched, just virtually the entire edifice of the corporate media just drop the war on terror, like a hot stone, and switch immediately. And, it was no longer the terrorists are coming to get us, but it was, the resurrection of Hitler is back, and, and Hitler's
Right.
force. And it was, I've overused this in my columns, but it was like that moment in 1984 where they switch official enemies right in the middle of a speech.
Right.
It was, to me, it was that abrupt.
Right.
And that's when the whole war on populism, the bifurcated war on populism narrative really began.